Welcome back to another episode of Jake Bakes. We're going to be making some really amazing lemon blueberry scones today. I picked this recipe because my grandma's birthday was recently, and I would spend summers with her, and we'd go always blueberry picking right around this time of year. It was July, super hot, and we would just go and spend an hour or two out in the fields just picking pails, big milk buckets full of blueberries. So this recipe is an homage to her. It's lemon blueberry scones, and I can't wait to bake them with you. This recipe is super easy and just requires some basic ingredients that are around your house. We are using all-purpose flour, milk or heavy cream, blueberries, fresh picked blueberries, salt, sugar, just a little bit of sugar, about 3 tablespoons, the zest of 2 lemons, and I use some lemon extract as well just to sort of pump up that flavor, 5 tablespoons of cold butter, vanilla extract, and baking powder. Now, to get started, we're gonna grab 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Grabbing the flour. I love this recipe because, unlike some of the other bread recipes that I use that do require some more precise measurements, this one is a little less precise. So this one can be, I don't have to weigh ingredients out nearly as much. It's a little bit of a heartier recipe. After that, I'm gonna add the lemon zest. I really like to add the lemon zest into the flour when I'm putting it all together. 3 tablespoons of sugar, a pinch of salt. Salt makes desserts taste better. And the baking soda, or baking powder, excuse me. Just 3/4 tablespoon of this. That's like our only leavening agent, so that's what's gonna give them the nice, really fluffy, cake-like texture. So once you have all this, just mix that up a little bit. Now take your butter, which is nice and cold. This is what's so easy about this. I just pinch this into my flour mixture. And now, just like when you're making a pie crust, you're just gonna rub this butter into the flour. Because scones are supposed to be just absolutely like pillowy clouds of cake. So this is gonna help you develop no gluten or very little gluten like you'd rather want in a bread. It's gonna give it that stretch and pull. Chewy cake is not really that great. You're going to wanna get this all the way to a breadcrumb texture. So once it starts to become a little breadcrumby and it looks like you're about to bread some pork chops or something, then it's gonna be the perfect texture. Now we just have to add in all the wet ingredients. I'm gonna grab the blueberries. Just mix those in. You wanna be really gentle with those when you're mixing them so you don't break them all up and then your dough will become gray and gross looking. I'm gonna grab this lemon extract. You don't need to add a ton. I think it just really amps up the lemon flavor. So I'm gonna add about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Add about a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Once that's done, I'm gonna add the cup of milk. You want whole fat milk or 2%. Definitely not skim. You do need that fat in there to help everything bind. Oh man, this already smells good. And then you just take your hands, come in here. I make like a monster claw and just go in here and mix this all up. You want to be careful to not over mix this because over mixing it's going to give you a tough, chewy texture and you don't want that. That's really not what you want. Because you want to be able to get it to a texture that can be rolled out or at least patted out and cut. I think I'm good. There's still some pockets of flour, but I can get those mixed out on the board. So I'm gonna just flick a little bit of flour down, give it a nice dusting. Once this comes together like this, everything looks good. I'm gonna get this into a circular shape. Now you can see little flecks of the lemon zest in there and it smells amazing. There we go, perfect. Grab a baking tray. And on this baking tray, you wanna cut this. So what I usually do is cut it in half and then cut these each parts into 3. Make sure your oven is preheated to 400 degrees. It's a pretty high heat for something like this, but this is gonna be a quick bake, so you want these to be just in and out of the oven pretty quickly. And what I like about these too is that it doesn't take a whole lot of technique. You're not making something that's gonna be, you know, beautifully presented on some fancy thing. These are gonna taste like $1,000,000, but I like the look of them, that they're like really homey, and they just remind me of my grandma for that. Like they look handmade. They look like they were made with a lot of heart. Go ahead and put these in your oven that's preheated to 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. You just want them to start getting golden. Now that they're out of the oven, we go ahead and have them cooled. They've been sitting here for about 15-20 minutes. They're wonderful. This whole place smells amazing. They're honestly ready to eat. I like them warm, smeared with butter, but my favorite way to serve them is I've got some naked lemons that have some juice in them. So I like to mix that lemon juice with some icing sugar and get a really nice touch to it. You make people think you did a lot of work. Let's do this. Drizzle it on there. And this is a Ziploc bag, so once again, nothing fancy at all about this. Right there. Perfect. Take this one right here. It's so good. Honestly, whoever came up with lemon and blueberry as like a thing, shout out to you, babe. Well, I hope you found this recipe as enjoyable as I enjoyed baking it for you. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And any comments, suggestions for future episodes, emotional outbursts, anything you want to say, down here in the comments, leave it. All right, we'll see you here next time on Jake Bakes.